Okay, now switching gears like completely. One of these other things that I have seen you do through time is you were the first guy that I ever heard say B-Sides, and I remember when you said that, I went, "What is that? I'm not sure what that is."
Yeah.
And now B-Sides is B-Sides, and we even have one up here in the frozen tundra of Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
So I was wondering kind of how. I guess what drew you to B-Sides in the first place? Because you sort of knew it before it came up, was my perception. Mm-hmm. And then, how has that journey gone through the years? You've been involved for a long time.
Yeah. I got involved back in 2014 or so. Hard to pin down exactly. I was on, Twitter. I was doing a lot of talks at different conferences in my role at the time. And at times lamenting my inability to get my talks accepted at things like RSA and Black Hat, and stumbled across the B-Sides community, actually crossing paths with Jack Daniel on Twitter. So if you don't follow Jack on Twitter, recommend it. He's an interesting follow, and a guy that's been in the industry for quite a long time. He's one of the founders of Security B-Sides, and it was founded, and I'm not sure when they started off the top of my head, but it was founded around that notion of, hey, I had this really great idea, great talk, but it didn't get accepted by RSA. It didn't get accepted by Black Hat. And the first B-Sides, I think it was Las Vegas first. There was a B-Sides Las Vegas, which was, hey, all the talks that you didn't get accepted into Black Hat or DEF CON, we'll take those talks. And sometimes there are things that are a little bit off the beaten path and don't really fit into, what those big conferences are looking for. And the same thing with B-Sides San Francisco as sort of the B side to the A side, which is, the RSA conference.
RSA, yeah.
And so that's, really the initial ethos is creating a hyper local conference, most often offered for free. So no registrations, fully sponsor funded. So I thought, wow, this is such a great thing, and we don't have that in the New York metro area where I live in New Jersey. And so I reached out to Jack Daniel, and so 90% of doing anything in this life is don't be afraid to reach out to that person that you think might be too busy or too important. Jack is like this InfoSec luminary, and he was very quick to respond and say, hey, this is how you get started. Gave me the quick getting started. It took several years for me to get Security B-Sides New York City, NYC off the ground. It was working with a couple of guys, Brad Antanovich, who works, I believe, at Cisco these days, and another guy by the name of Glenn Edwards. So the three of us all came to the B-Sides organization independently, and they connected us together. And so we kind of tirelessly, pushed the effort forward as the sort of three co-founders. And eventually in 2016, John Jay College, who's a big criminal justice college, we got a contact there, Dr. Lovely, who's was one of the professors back there in 2015, 2016. And he said, yeah, we'll donate the space. So we were able to offer a free conference in Manhattan in a large space for everybody. And that was such a win. And then 2017, we had to kind of take the year off. Everybody got a little busy. I think one of the guys had his first kid, and I think I got promoted, and another guy moved jobs, but then we brought it back in 2018. Then we lost our contact at John Jay College in 2019, and then 2020 came. We all know what happened then. And now we're coming out of it again, and I'm not as involved as I once was. There's a whole new crew, new school, next gen, taking the torch from me and the original founders. But we're going to have another event in April. John Jay is back on board to host us. They have such a great space there, and they have as a criminal justice, criminology type of school focus, have a good cyber program. So really, great synergy there of who our sponsor is, and really excited to see, with another generation of folks carrying it forward. Really, the other impetus behind getting involved when I did was information security as a profession has given so much to me. It's created a career and a prosperous lifestyle, and also a way to create technology that makes the internet a safer place, which is really what I'm lucky enough to be a part of. And I think about how hard it is to get into this industry, And I didn't really have anything other than sort of stumbling my way forward in various IT jobs, and to really kind of embrace information security as my focus. And I think, what can we do to give back to the community to create that opportunity for others? And so that's really, one of the ethos of Security B-Sides is to be more accessible. I talked about getting your talks accepted, but also make it free, so I don't need to pay for $1,000 conference ticket. So making this industry more accessible and giving people the opportunity to network and learn. So humbled to be a part of a team that's got this going in New York City, where it's hard to do things for free and accessibly. And so this, I'll certainly leave a legacy at F5 behind, but I've been here for 15 years. But I think the legacy that in the industry I'm most proud of is hopefully Security B-Sides New York chapter goes on to continue to be successful in years to come, and that's something that now happens and creates opportunity for others. Because this is such a great field. There's so much good you can do in the world by being involved, no matter how, whether you're a programmer, a coder, you're an attacker, you're a defender, you're a sales engineer, you're in product development, whatever you want to do. There's lots of ways to help make the internet a safer place. It's just about getting in the door and seeing that cybersecurity is a field for all of us.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just coming out of the pandemic, right? We're starting to do more events and things like that. And one of these things that I noticed, the reason why I ended up bringing up B-Sides, really, B-Sides Rock showed up from out of nowhere. I mean, I haven't seen anything out of them in a long time on socials, but I, like so many other people, have been exploring Mastodon. And on an InfoSec Exchange, they were showing B-Sides Rock. It came up in my area, so. It just so happens that one of the influencers that I follow is going to be at the next meeting. They're flying in, and so I'm going to go and check that. I'm very excited to really take part in it. So,
yeah, our first B-Sides, one of our keynotes was a guy by the name of Chris Wesopel, who was at Veracode for some time, is one of the original guys in the old school hacking crews from Loft and those folks. And so, got to meet him, and he gave a talk that year that 2016, that really changed my view of the world. He talked about shifting from the military paradigm of attack and defense and, building higher walls, and really talking about it from safety. So you heard me say, make the internet a safer place a bunch of times. That's like my motto, if you will, what drives me as a professional. And that's really comes from Chris, at Weld Pond on Twitter. So Chris Wesopel's talk there, he talked about move to a notion of safety, right? He talked about the analogy of a toaster, right? A toaster, is inherently an unsafe thing, right? You take a flammable thing, a piece of bread, you stick it in, you turn it on some heating elements, and then you hope it doesn't catch fire and toast it just right. And we take it for granted that that's a safe thing to do. We don't yet have that luxury on the internet. Sharing our information, whether it's for personal or business reasons, is a inherently unsafe act on the internet. And it's our job as practitioners, whatever role we play, to try to make it a more safe by default, and the threat and the risk is the exception. And so he really changed my mind about how to think about this attack, and go away from this military attack and defense paradigm and get into this internet safe use paradigm, and making it safe and easy for everyone to be on the internet, and not have to be a tech savvy person hovering over links and being concerned about phishing and malware and gosh, whatever else.
There's something to be said for usability too. That's got to say that.
Yeah. Security is only as good as it is usable.
That's right. What is that? The first tenet of good security is availability, I think, is